Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today's podcast with Hamza and SNEAKO and also, Warner. And they will be talking about Islam, relationship, business, money, and a lots of things. You have to know that. If I don't make this reaction video, then you can get this and you are not able to make an impact on your life. So let's watch that podcast and if you don't like this video, no problem, dislike it. Let's watch it.
What do I do with this in the color?
How was your podcast earlier?
Yeah, sick, bro. It's so good. They asked me such interesting questions, and we spoke about Islam actually, and they were asking me like,
Did you?
yeah, I was born as a Muslim. Why did I go off? And I was telling them the story of like the racism that I faced when I was in.
What
in
ethnicity are you?
Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so's Warner over here.
Where from?
Bro, fuck you, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah, same.
Pull up, bro.
Yeah, same, bro.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in LA.
You know, Sheikh Uthman, he was the one who helped me take my Shahada. He's also from Pakistan. So
Yeah.
Pakistan are good people.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
So are you Muslim?
Pakistani.
No. I would say I'm agnostic, open and willing, having the conversations.
But do you know what the word Muslim means?
What?
So the word Muslim means just one who submits to God. That's all it means.
Nice.
Yeah, have you guys heard much about Sikhism? You guys heard much about?
Are you a Sikh?
I'm Sikh, yeah.
Yeah, I have. It's like it comes. You believe in the prophets, but not all of them. Or
So it's kind of different. So we have our own prophets, kind of thing.
We don't have our prophets, we have
Gurus, right?
gurus who we believe are forms of God that are brought down by God to spread his message.
Yeah. Have you ever heard about like Sikhism or what we believe or anything? Because there's not similarities, but the reason there's similarities is because I think the truth's always the same.
I like every Sikh that I've met. I've never met a Sikh that I just like. Like good people
Yeah.
overall. So I don't know too much about the religion.
Yeah, my family actually used to be Sikh, then
Oh,
Hindu.
no way.
Actually, no, it was Hindu, then Sikh, then came to Islam.
So you're from India or Pakistan?
No, my parents from Pakistan.
Okay, but that was like old
Pakistani.
India, right? So that's
Yeah,
why I
old
didn't see,
India,
right? Yeah. So for me, it's like it's the opposite for us, right? Because we're Afghan Sikhs. So usually Sikhs are from India, but we're Afghan. So usually the population of Afghanistan is like Muslim, right? But we were Sikh, and then we from that place. That's where our parents, like forefathers, came from, and so it's a weird mix. But we had to leave because like obviously like I think it's hard for Sikhs to live in Sikhs to live in a country where it's just like Afghanistan's obviously like 99% Muslim, right? And they had some issues, like even recently, the bombings and stuff, like the Sikh temples and stuff, you know? So there's like that sort of discrimination kind of, so that's why we had to leave, and now all the diaspora of Sikhs is like everywhere. It's like...
I remember I saw one of your videos. I think it was a year ago, and obviously I gave you credits before for helping me get on the self improvement wave. I remember like kind of making fun of that back then, but that self improvement is extremely important. You see all the degeneracy that they promote, all the influencers are gambling, pimping, prostitution. It's never been this degenerate than it is right.
Oh, I have to say one thing, and this video is flipped. Okay, don't comment. Oh, why he using his left hand for eating and lots of things, Be aware of this. So this video is flipped because if you upload this full of video without editing, then you can it will be removed, bro. Maybe.
Right now, people are selling out quicker than ever. So to have an element of self-improvement is extremely important. And you had a video, you were talking about how a lot of the ideas of your self-improvement, they come back to the Quran.
Yeah. That's like the original self-improvement. It's rejecting degeneracy, praying, basically meditation, being grateful, brotherhood, delaying gratification. Like heaven is the ultimate form of delaying gratification.
Exactly.
All of the self-improvement stuff we do is basically we're just choosing to endure hardship today for a better tomorrow.
Everything in this life is a test.
And it's heaven. So
Yeah.
it's incredible. I actually wanted to say, like, I hope this sounds not condescending, but like I actually feel very proud of you because the progress you've made is insane. You should be
Thank
proud
you.
of yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate
as well.
that. Yeah. You as well, bro. You came a long way too. We're all on the grind over here. I don't know why that sounds condescending. That's a good compliment. I appreciate that, bro.
Nice one, brother.
Yeah, good to finally meet you, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So I don't know, like me and Hamza, we've been like back and forth. We had like beef like a couple of years ago, but I think
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
2022,
A long time
wasn't it?
ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, to finally meet you. What have you been up to? Like, you're kind of I wouldn't say mysterious figure, but you're not as like, I'm very loud on the internet, and you do your own thing, but you're Adonis School is doing well. Like,
Yeah,
so what
thank
have you been up to?
So since 2022, I was basically entering like the fatherhood chapter of my life. So I've been traveling all over, trying to figure out where you'd want to raise children.
Yeah,
moved
I was
to-
doing the same thing last year.
Yeah, you've traveled a lot as well.
All of last year was looking at a good place to raise kids.
What's the conclusion?
I don't know. I don't know.
Exactly.
I went to the Middle East. I went to Eastern Europe. I went to Poland. I went to Romania. Went to Thailand. Can we get some ginger tea?
Yeah.
Can we get some desserts too? I don't know which one. Just a couple desserts. Maybe a couple coffees.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coffee's would be good,
Yeah. Maybe 4 more coffees.
Coffee.
Espressos, yeah.
All
And
the
then
things,
some more ginger tea.
Yes.
Nice one. Thank you.
Thank you. And then some desserts or whatever maybe some fruit and then some ice cream, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, bro. Jazakallah.
Nice one, bro.
Yo,
You in Brazil?
I haven't been to Brazil yet.
to go
I want to go Brazil.
He's been hyping
I've
up
been
Brazil,
hyping
bro.
He
Like,
knows
yeah,
about
sounds
Brazil.
good, bro.
Like,
Yeah.
right, Brazil's lit.
Where did you travel last year?
I think SNEAKO is now very practicing because he's changing, he's using this word, Jazakallah, inshallah, Alhamdulillah, mashallah, mashallah, Muslim in the chat. So let's watch.
Me.
Yeah.
2023, I moved to Dubai, set up the company there. I heard, it's like a Muslim place and everything. And it's not.
It's pretty much like Miami and the Arabic
quite
world.
decent, yeah. So set up the company there, didn't like it, destroyed the company there, moved back home, moved to Thailand, Bali, Scotland. Scotland's my favorite place so
You
far.
moved to Thailand and Bali?
Yeah. So I set up in those places, and they're nice. And you're surrounded by like-minded entrepreneurs, like
A lot of
base
internet money people, yeah.
that's it. It's lovely to have that community.
All these expats in the third world of Asia.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, it was nice to be around them, but what I missed most was like the British countryside, like the rural nature that we have. I know you come to London, but when you go outwards into the countryside around here, bro, it's so beautiful, so clean, like the fresh air. It's
And the weather's better. London is just a cloud.
yeah, it's
lingering
it's a
cloud all day
smog,
long.
bro.
Yeah, no, I can't do it.
How long are you here for?
Everyone asks me that, but I'm a day-to-day type of person. I'm sure you're like that too. We're always traveling. We were in Mecca right before London. We're gonna go to Mecca again tonight, and then from there we're gonna see. We're taking Ramadan very seriously. We're gonna keep traveling and interacting with different Muslims, I want to stay in this area of the world for Ramadan. I think that'd be good long term.
This is the first time you fasted.
First time, yeah.
How is it?
It's good. Well, that's why I'm enjoying the food right now. I got my shisha, fasted all day.
Yeah.
I'm complaining a lot
Bro,
compared to
shisha's
Warner. Warner's 300
haram.
pounds, and like he's been fine. But you grew up, so
when you stood up, I wasn't expecting that, bro.
You're like, hey, it doesn't stop. Keep going on.
What are they putting in this shisha, bro? Let me get that.
Yeah.
Has it been difficult fasting?
It's hard.
Yes.
It's just really hard. I can't lie. Waters though is a really hard part. Yesterday we trained boxing, and then the trainer made us go to the sauna. So we're doing we did a circuit. So it's like sauna train, sauna train.
And then no water.
No water, and that's
Wow.
brutal because
Wow.
like when I'm boxing at home, I'm chugging water the
Yeah.
entire thing. Like by the time I
Throat's
finish
all dry,
boxing, I look
yeah.
like I jumped in the pool. But
Yeah.
I highly recommend. That's a major part of self-improvement. It's also a big mental test to see like where you're at mentally and how much you can endure, what your willpower is, and it's good for the schedule too because every single day you got to wake up at 4:30 for Fajr prayer. And then you're up until you're up the whole day, and then there's nighttime prayers. It's actually committing to Ramadan is more than just fasting. It's saying on the prayers, and it's a lot of work. It's a job.
Yeah, walk me through day in the life. What's it look like now?
Okay, so it's only like day 10. It's my first one. So I'm not the best one. Warner's probably better, but I'll explain mine so far.
Yeah.
Probably in the first couple days, I would stay up until Fajr. Fajr is the morning prayer, so I would because I finished stream late, I'd start at 4:30.
Oh, you wouldn't sleep?
I wouldn't sleep.
Okay.
And then I will go to sleep after
4:30.
Fajr prayer and then wake up at like 4 p.m.
Yeah.
And then 4 p.m. you miss like 2-3 prayers, so you need to catch up. So then you pray Asr, Dhuhr, and then I like probably stack them all by Maghrib. Maghrib is when you break your fast, that's iftar. And then eat iftar, munch out, just like gorge food, and then maybe get a workout in and then pray Isha and then go back to sleep after working again. But I'm like, this is kind of cheating because I'm pretty much sleeping.
You miss half of it.
I'm just exactly. It's not fair. But since we've been here in London and I woke up at what time did you get up today? I think I got up at I got up for Fajr, went back to sleep for 2 hours, woke up again, worked all day, and now we're here. Iftar. Probably pray Isha afterwards if you want to join us.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wanted to join you for. I didn't realize you'd be leaving tonight, but I thought we could do like a whole day where I'd fast with you guys.
Yeah, you want to do that?
Yeah, that would have been fun. Yeah, if you throw in a workout in there, I wanted to see what it'd be like. Because I know it's a struggle when a lot of Muslim guys will say like it's so hard to train, but they get it in anyway, so which is so impressive.
We should do
It
that.
shows you what you're made out of, like discipline. It shows you like, what you're made of, because you know if you have to wait until sunset to break it.
Yeah,
You know?
and no waters with a workout is deadly as well. Yeah, so this is so specific, but you get that dry throat.
Of course.
Like so, what do you do? Are you just swallowing spit to like?
Pretty much, yeah. You're salivating throughout the day to hydrate yourself.
Yeah.
But also keep in mind, it makes you think of the people that are hungry, but they have no choice. Like you know, the people who are thirsty and they have no choice. Like we have the choice. Look, we have water in front of us. There's other individuals. They're starving, and who knows when they're gonna get food?
You want one?
There's other people who, you know, they're thirsty. And who knows when they're gonna get water? But the thing is, when are you gonna ever feel for them unless you put yourself in that position as well?
100%. Yeah, actually, that'd be a good idea. I should have thought of that beforehand. I mean,
next time you're down, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we're traveling. We can come back. You're here for how long?
I'll be in London till the 28th.
Bro, SNEAKO is using his right hand. Don't say he's drinking with his left hand, okay? Because I know you are haram police who are always, you know.
Then I fly off to US for the first time, and then I'll be in and out of London every now and then. So
what are you doing in the United States?
I go to Vegas, you know, the school events. So there was like a big competition. I won that in February. So I go and see the owner of school, Sam Evans, and then Alex Hamosi as well, and do like a little event with them. And then I fly off to see Chris Williamson afterwards.
Oh yeah, he's a big self-improvement guy as well.
Yeah, he's doing bits. Yeah,
you're doing all these masterminds and.
Everywhere I travel to, I'm just bringing the boys out, trying to help them any way I can, teach them some lessons on business, life, and everything.
Yeah, I saw you had one that I wanted to replicate. I don't know if it was in Thailand or Bali, but you brought all your the Adana school people to a gym, and then you got a good workout at the top. Was that where was that?
That was in Bali, yeah. That was wholesome, bro. So we brought out like the Bali local kids who follow me, and many of them, you know, they don't have that much money, but we went to the fanciest gym that we could find, and I walk in there with like 25 of these kids behind me.
And you didn't tell the gym beforehand.
Yeah, I probably should have, but I walk in, I was like, can I have 25 day passes? Yeah. And she's like, well, no sir, cannot. And she starts like going on the walkie-talkie and everything. Yeah. Manager comes in, he's like, no, like, you know, we've got the insurance and everything. Obviously, bro, it's Bali, so I was like, how much? He's like, no, insurance. I'm like, how much, bro? It's like, okay, fair enough, let's sign that away. So we brought these kids in. And they literally, the moment they walk through the gym, because it's a fancy gym, they literally start pulling their phones out, recording it. They've never been to a gym like this before. There's a spa, there's a sauna.
They look like they didn't look like they were from Bali, those people, were they?
So a lot of them were like the expat kids. So they were going to school there. A lot of them were like 13 to 16
They'd never been
old.
to a gym?
They've been to gyms, but not like, that was like a high class, like £250 a month gym with sauna, spa, everything, right?
Yeah.
So I got them all the day pass, and I said to the manager as well, like, if you've got a personal trainer, I'll pay for his hour. He comes up and like runs the class for us. So he set them this brutal thing of, you know, the throwing the ball to the floor and doing the step ups and boxing and everything. And I was just like going around the circuits and just hyping up the boys and, you know, just encouraging them. And loads of them were just saying like they don't even go outside.
Yeah.
And here they were, rooftop of a
They don't
gym,
even go outside?
They don't go outside. Yeah.
Yeah. So you must deal with a lot of those people that have a lack of brotherhood, and you you bring that environment of team and of working together, kind of like the military or sports, or even like Islamic Brotherhood is very similar. Why do you think that people don't have that anymore?
Everyone matters.
Honestly, just the lifestyle we all live. All we do is just stare into the computer screen. I remember you saying that to me once. You like ended a season of traveling and you started season of streaming and you started to travel, and you sent me a voice note saying like, all the people who criticize you just don't go outside. And I was like, he's absolutely right. It's like most good or bad people, all we do is just stay at home and look into our computer screens. And maybe the most productive of us go to the gym as well. That's it. And so the ability to even have brotherhood is just tied of like, do you have a good gym partner or not? And that's as far as it goes. That's why I'm so keen to get more into Islam, because I know you guys have an insane brotherhood. You've got you've got a reason to spend time with each other. You'll go to the mosque, you'll pray together, you'll break fast together. That must have been so great for your journey.
Yeah, it's unlike, I was saying that before you came in. It's unlike any other brotherhood that I've ever experienced. I mean, I lived with the rugby team at my school. I wasn't playing rugby, but I was just in the house. Yeah, thank you, bro. And that you have to pay for a membership there, and pretty much when you go to a brotherhood, there's always something uniting them. There's always like a common goal. That's the only way you're going to have brothers, if you have a common objective. You're not just going to hang out for the sake of hanging out. If you do, you're just going to end up getting high playing video games.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the rugby team, the common goal was partying and drinking and sleeping with girls. That was the common objective. Like, how much partying can we do? But with Islamic Brotherhood, the common goal is getting to heaven. And so you see how much of life falls in line with there, where it comes to prayer, where it comes to like correcting each other, making sure that like, they're all making fun of me, like, how come you haven't got 2 wives yet? Like they're trying everything that falls into life, like making sure you're good with your family, that your relationships are good, that you're on your deen, you're practicing. Like if someone's listening to music, they correct you on there. Everything in life falls into that brotherhood. I think it's and there's no membership fee. I was saying the membership fee to join the Islamic Brotherhood is saying La ilaha illallah, just saying taking your shahada. And then
What does that mean?
that means that I bear witness that there's no other, no one to worship but God. Correct? Yeah. So
You say that before you eat and
There's no
stuff.
God but Allah.
no, you say Bismillah before you eat, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's part of prayer is saying La ilaha illallah. Just that pretty much is one God.
Yeah.
Having that as the common objective. I think when it comes to any other sort of brotherhood or membership, that is the best way to be in a brotherhood is getting into heaven. I can't see anything that compares. But it's really important. I always encourage people to, because you're right. Like we're spending more time online than ever. Our average screen time is like 9 to 12 hours a day. And I'm sure you probably never see your haters outside. Have you ever interacted with somebody hateful?
Never.
I've been walking all around London. Today you did?
Oh, that. Yeah, I had some guy who wasn't being friendly. I went to handshake him. He just looked at me. And I was like, "Why are you being a dick?"
Why did you try to shake his hand?
We were just stood. We were stood there, and I was speaking to him, like speaking to the group he was with, and I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you, bro." And he just he looked at me as if I was like a bad person for sticking my hand out to handshake him. I was like, "Why are you being a dick?"
Like you're the alpha, and he was just like there with like the girls trying to be like get in with them, you know.
Oh, he was with girls?
Yeah.
Oh, so he was just trying to like big dog you, like I'm in front of the girl.
Yeah,
It probably wasn't a
that's-
hater
yeah.
thing. It was just like just dick measuring contest.
Yeah.
Stupid.
He lost that.
Oh yeah, who cares about that? But you probably never see the people that hate online. You've never interacted.
They don't
with
go
them.
outside, bro.
I've never seen them, and it's easier, and I'm sure you've experienced that. It's easier for people to look at something that you're doing when you're talking about self-improvement, or they're trying to get people in the gym and motivate people, and it's easy to call stuff like that cringe, but they're not helping, and there's a clear problem. Like men are lonelier than they've ever been.
We were talking about that before we came in, that it was just luck for me that I ended up posting videos in the niche that has become like the single most important of our generation, which is helping men. It was for me it's always been something that I was interested in, like men's issues, and I used to talk about feminism when I was like 16 years old.
Yeah, me too.
But when I was making these videos, I never once thought that this would be like the single most important topic. Now it's taken over the internet. Everyone knows everyone's debating feminism, getting into Islam and becoming more masculine. It's incredible, like how much the cringe social media self-improvement masculinity guys have made like an impact on the world.
Yeah, and the ones that were able to get past that wave and get past the cringe allegations, all that stuff, they're very successful, because I was realizing it today. I did a podcast with Pearl, just Pearly Things. Yeah. And she's still talking about stuff from like the 2022, like, so what's the Matrix and like all this stuff and about feminism. It's like, I think the culture in general has come to an agreement that there's 2 genders. Feminism is a bunch of lies. So the next step is, what do you do about it? Like now you know that they're trying to control you. They want you to be depressed, fat, poor, broke, a million genders, all that stuff. What do you do about it? Because constantly yelling about it, like, what does that accomplish? Nothing. You're just going to be angry. Your audience is going to be angry, and you're just going to be a bunch of angry people on a laptop. The next step is actual improvement. It is, fixing your life.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I preached that from the start. I always wanted my boys to actually take real action, to get into the gym, meditate, like fortify their mind. Because I truthfully, like, I didn't know what the world would come to. I didn't realize degeneracy in like the modern day movement would get this bad in only a few years.
Whew, it got bad quick, huh?
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Like how bad cancel culture has gotten and so many issues. But for me, it was always just thinking, no matter whatever the hard times do arise, if you just create yourself into a strong man who can ride that wave, you will win. I remember talking about this in 2021, 2022, when I first read the book Hard Times, Great Strong Men. I was saying, like, we in the West have lived in a very safe, prosperous, comfortable time.
Right.
And so the average guy, if we walk out into the street right now, 9 out of 10 guys will be shaped like women. Like, they'll literally have, like, breast mass. They'll have, like nice, sexy hips and everything. It's the average-looking guy has got so much estrogen, he may as well be a woman. And so, of course, he's going to be struggling when the times are getting harder now. We've been talking about the issues because we're all from the UK. It's like the cost of living crisis, food banks are being overrun, the crime's so high. People in this country are cold and hungry. It's a first world country. People are cold in their own homes. They're wearing like 3 layers because they can't afford to turn their electricity on. They can't turn the heating on.
Yeah, I had this idea when we first landed in the airport. I was like, "Bro, people have bad drip." Like, it's just that these people look cold and miserable, and they're just like, they're wearing like 3 coats, and there's no sun, and it's just like, it's not poor enough where there's crime, but like, because people always exaggerate about the crime here. That's one thing I have to admit. Like, I don't think it's as bad as people say. But you go around and just people.
Yeah, bro.
No, I've been all over, bro. We're in Croydon right now.
Oh, yeah,
we're in the Bronx.
That's hipster though. No, Croydon's
Is
hipster,
it? So we were in East London earlier today.
East London's hipster as well.
So where's the bad area?
No, it's not bad. It's a good place, right? But if you want to go to like the hood, it's different, right?
Where's the hood?
He's right. They call this place
He knows the hood, bro. He knows
the Bronx.
He's known around.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, I don't think London is as bad as people say, but like you could tell that there's a lack of money, and it seems like there's a lack of opportunity, and it seems like a lot of people are trying to, like the internet money people are surpassing pretty quickly. What have you noticed, like from your community? What are people really making money in?
It's tough, bro. I'd love to, sell the dream to the boys. Oh, it's so easy to make money in this business model. I won't lie to you. It's like, it's so fucking difficult for a beginner to make money. It's one of the hardest things you can teach a new person.
So painful.
Because the first stage of making money online is nothing to do with money. It's like looking at the guy's character and thinking like, you've fapped and your room has smelt like semen for 10 years straight. Now you're saying like, oh, your parents don't believe in your business idea. They're telling you to go to university. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't believe you either. Like you smelt like cum for 10 years. What are you on about? Of course, no one believes you. So the first like huge stage of making money online is just productivity, character, self-image. Do you actually believe that it's possible, or do you still think that every entrepreneur online is lying or scamming? Once you've got them out of that stage and they can actually like believe it, there's success to be had. Then we need to fix the productivity and brain issue. Most people can't even sit straight. You know this. It's like the amount of people who've just got ADHD symptoms. Thank you. The ADHD symptoms, their brains just jumping around all over the place. They can barely read 1 or 2 sentences before they get like a thought of high school. And so, I don't know if your live chat's going wild. Like, type 1 in the chat if you relate to that. Like, you feel like your brain's just stupid, and you read a sentence and your brain's forgotten what the sentence was. You try and sit down to work. You do the hard part of sitting down to work, and then you just don't get anything done because you feel mentally fatigued already. The amount of students I talk to who are just so tired from school to begin with is crazy. So then we need to help them with that productivity. Can you sit down and actually get some good work done?
They're spamming 1s. I even saw one of my editors put a 1 for that. It's just
I'd be looking at his work rate, bro. Like, renegotiate his salary quick, bro.
Do you think that you have ADHD?
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit, yeah. I won't diagnose myself, but I have some of the symptoms. So the symptom that I'm most familiar with is basically that it feels like your brain hops around many different ideas at once, and when it's uncontrolled, it gets to the point where you can't even hold a thought for longer than 5 seconds.
But when you can't control it, that's how you become really successful.
That's how you get extreme.
I think everybody that's at the top, all successful entrepreneurs or innovators, businessmen, they're all have, like if they were told to sit in a class and listen to a history lesson, they wouldn't be able to focus.
Yeah.
So when you figure out how to channel that energy properly, then you're really successful. Every single UFC fighter that I've interacted with, they definitely would be like diagnosed with ADHD.
What are they like? You speak to them, like what are you picking up on?
They're just like, they're regular guys who would not be able to, I mean, like high testosterone, they are adventurous, like they can't focus, they have a lot of energy. Those are the type of people that would be classified with ADHD, but is that really ADHD, or are they just not designed to sit down for 10 hours a day? You know, I wouldn't consider that a deficiency. I wouldn't consider that a disability. It's just, it's like the hunter DNA. Like in every, I mean, this is biology. In every pack of wolves, there needs to be 1 or 2 that needs to go bring the food to the family. That's not going to be the wolf that's going to sit by the fire all day. They need to go like run around and have a ton of energy and have their focus everywhere to figure out something, to sniff the floor, to see where the prey is.
certainly we want people with different traits. We want the guy who can go out for the hunt and he's motivated by dopamine. But I think these days the symptoms of ADHD are way too severe. Like the average young guy I speak to can't do any work. He literally can't sit down. He can't focus. He'll do maybe, let's say, 2 or 3 hours of work a week. And whatever I can do in about 20 minutes, it takes them a couple of weeks to produce. Like I'll sit down and like, let's say with your stream, you've produced like a week's worth of content with one stream in 4 hours. That's a week's worth. So you're basically 10x productivity compared to the guy who works 40 hours a week.
And it's exponential. Once you get on that wave, it's easier to do the next one. Yeah.
You've got, thousands of hours of content stacked up. So not only can you work hard and produce, but you've also got high leverage. So to answer your original question, once we then get the productivity issue in order, then we talk about business models. And the only one business model I recommend is exactly what we do. Grow an audience, sell them some kind of digital product. I really don't like the advice of like copywriting and agency and any of those random business models, because it's basically just slave work where you're telling me like 100 DMs a day, 100 cold emails. Well, it's pathetic, bro. It's like, who the fuck wanted to be an entrepreneur to copy and paste and just harass people?
Well, surely they can't be 1,000 Hamzas.
They don't have to be Hamzas. It's like I became me because I had these interesting stories to tell and advice, and I could explain things in concepts and analogies that was quite unique. So you're not trying to become the next Hamza, next SNEAKO or Tate. You're trying to just go and live your own adventurous life where you've actually achieved some things. And then when you sit down and you give some advice to people and you connect the web between two different topics, like I will with making money and progressive overload in the gym, it clicks for people's brains and they're like, oh, this guy's just like me. He makes money and he also goes to the gym. So you don't need to be like the next Hamza. You just need to be you, right, but make sure that you're not a loser who only sits at home.
Right. How do you recommend people become interesting? That's one problem that I've seen as an influencer is like, okay, I've had I was like the guy fapping in my bedroom too, like playing video games, lazy, like didn't know what I wanted to do, and then dropped out of school. And then when you become the person where you have a personal brand and you speak every single day, no one's going to want to listen to you if you don't have experiences and you're not interesting. And if your history is like, just being in your room in your mom's house, you're going to have nothing to talk about because all the people watching have had the same exact experience. So actively, I've tried to spend a lot of time building experiences and having, a difficult life in order to have something to talk about. I think every time I invest money into traveling or going around the world, being in different situations, I see that as an investment into my personal brand because I have something to say. How do you recommend people become interesting? Because the vast majority of people, the average man is the most boring blob that they've ever been. It's the easiest time to exist ever, and how do they become interesting?
It's such a good question. How do you become interesting? I'll give you like a specific tactic. Create a calendar on Google Calendar, whatever, use your phone, and have a look at Friday and Saturday, and just start booking things in on those evening times. So let's say you look at Friday, 7 p.m., you finish school, you finish gym. Stay up late that day for 3-4 hours and do something which is a little bit more significant than you normally would. You're going to go on a 20-kilometer run even though you're fat and you never run. You're going to go and spar an MMA fighter like you did. You're going to go and risk something.
Did you get to finish your point about becoming interesting?
Oh no, sorry. Yeah. So I'd be looking to just book in something every Friday, every Saturday. And just think to yourself, like, what's some kind of adventure that would in some ways hurt? Because what I've realized about men is like, we actually really value the experience of pain in another man. You sparred Sean Strickland, right? You got hit in the face. He went a little bit hard on you. Suddenly, it's like you just became more interesting every time you tell that story, every time that clip is reposted. It's like, here's something adventurous he's just done. That's something that, people, I'm sure, I've not seen it, but like people will like make fun of you, whatever. None of the people making fun of you would ever have stepped into the ring that day. I would have been afraid to step into the ring that day. So anyone who's saying like, oh, whatever, you got beat up. Yeah, of course you fucking got beat up. It's a professional fighter. But that's a story you're going to tell.
Middleweight champion. Middleweight, not just a professional fighter.
There you go. You're going to tell that story for 10 years. But the reason why it's important is because there was pain through it. Like I just told the story of, I moved to London and I saw a few people get robbed. And I started getting super anxious that I kept like a hammer next to my bed. It was a painful period for me. My health declined. It was awful. My mental health was so bad. And yet that story is an asset that I tell in almost every podcast where I'm asked about like the places that I've lived now.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to you have to seek out a rite of passage because traditionally men to become a boy into a man, there needed to be some sort of rite of passage. In African tribes, they go through a lot of physical difficulty. In other cultures, like basically there needs to be some sort of physical, something that you need to achieve in order to actually get the respect of the community.
Any ideas for your future son? You're going to put him through a rite of passage.
Yeah, I've been thinking. I think I was on the same page as you a lot last year. I was thinking about that. Every time I was training, I kept thinking like I'm training to become a good father. Like that's kind of my motivation in terms of MMA training and all this stuff. Is like how could I be mentally ready to raise my son? Because my upbringing wasn't that difficult. I didn't have I don't have war stories to tell. So how do I become mentally tough in order to raise my son properly? Because I don't want to raise a bitch. Like that's something that probably one of my greatest fears. I know I'm not supposed to fear anything, but I am worried that I'll have like a soft son that gets programmed and vaccinated and fat and poor. So that is the motivation. I think the easiest rite of passage because every man needs to go through that. Every man needs to go through pain. They need to go through something. They need to take a risk and do something that they're scared of in order to get respect, not just from their community, but to get confidence in themselves. I say go to an MMA gym. I think that's the best way in a controlled environment where you can. It's you against another man, something you need to work on every single day. I think that's the best. I don't see anything comparable. What do you think?
I'd actually big up streaming. You said like you're not a warrior. I honestly think like the modern day intellectual warrior is this is gonna sound cringe as fuck, like a content creator, streamer.
Okay, explain.
A lot of people will think that's cringe, but think about it. It's like it's
Sean Strickland disagrees. These fucking influencers are pussies.
Right, look, that's real physical warrior, right? Fair enough.
Yeah.
But there's intellectual warriors these days. We're not all about the physical realm anymore because we've made so many advancements, and it's all about knowledge work these days. Like being someone who can move your body well and be like an athlete. It's like it's okay, fair enough, but the world now belongs to the intellectual people who can speak on camera. It is the truth. And so as much as we can say, influencers are cringe, it's like they're the most successful new age type of person. And there's a reason why, is because it's extremely difficult. It's easy to press record and sit there, but it's like the intellectual warrior battles 1,000 disagreements a day. Like whatever's happened to your mind and even your hormones when you read the chat and you're seeing like a flood of basically attacks and social ostracizing, and you've had moments where everyone online is criticizing you.
Oh yeah,
what that must have done to your hormones and like your weird neural stuff.
My camera's laughing.
The tribes like kicked you out.
Oh yeah, bro. From all different types of communities, from the liberals, from the feminists, from the Christians, from the Muslims, from Twitter, from the black community, from the white community. Like it's like even right now, like I get criticized, like I get scrutinized more than most people in the world. Like. Yeah, if you think about it, the volume of people doing it, it's actually is incredible, yeah. And it's something that a lot of people can't relate to, and it puts a stress on the people around you, but it is a good test of mental toughness. I do have to agree.
I actually very much agree with what you just said, because when I was younger, I actually fell into a similar situation where obviously you see I'm a giant myself. I wanted to play in the NBA. That's actually one of my goals of mine, and I memorized all the stats. I knew the best rebounder, the best assist guy, who had the best points that night. And then I remember I walked into a room one day with people who didn't care about sports. And then I realized the only thing I could talk about was sports. And then I was like, damn, am I boring? Like, do I have nothing to talk about?
All you have to talk about were other men's achievements.
With other people's achievements. And then I thought to myself, like, how can I change that? And I realized now it's time for me to learn something. If I learn something and I, like you said, be more intellectually based, that will change everything. And the knowledge that I have will be able to inspire others. And that's one of the most powerful things you can do as a human being, is have the ability to inspire.
What was the knowledge that you immediately started seeking?
Honestly, I would just say the purpose of life. That was one of the best questions to ask. And that's a question most people didn't have the answers to. So once I started seeking answers for the questions that people didn't have, and then I found the answers, and then suddenly I became the guy that had the answers that no one else had. Suddenly I became that dude. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you, how did you individually become interesting?
Pain. Almost every story I tell is pain related. I tell the story that I was born in poverty. My knee is still fucked up because when I was a baby, I didn't get enough calories. So my bones didn't develop properly. I was born in poverty. I tell the story of how I wasn't able to use my left hand for most of my life because it was webbed up to there because of a burn injury as a baby. Again,
I can see there's a burn mark.
You
Yeah.
see all that. It used to, before I got surgery on it, it used to be webbed up to here, so it was basically like inusable. I tell the story about the racists who attacked my family and traumatized me and my mother and made us anxious for years afterwards. The pain that I went through in university, like, you know, losing people that you love, losing best friends when you have like fallouts with them, and backstabbing and heartbreak. It's interesting that the stories that I tell the most, that men listen to the most, that captivate the most people, they're always involving pain. It's never just like, oh, hey, I had a good day and, you know, things went kind of good. It was like this chaotic moment that I wanted to get out of, but I didn't realize that once I'd get out of it, I'd constantly retell the story because other men would respect it.
I mean, that's every movie. Movies are only interesting because you get a main character, you get a hero, and then you make him likable, you make him resonate with the audience, and then he goes through a trial. He goes through something that other people haven't overcome. And then what makes the movie good is that he overcomes that triumph, and he has a story to tell, and that movie is the story. So, but it's hard to, what would you recommend? Because I'm sure you interact with a lot of these people, these kids that have not had, and I would say like my childhood was not that hard. Like I didn't have a lot of money, but overall, comparatively to kids in Haiti, for example, I used to always go to Haiti when I was younger. My dad's from there. And to see, in comparison, you know, I'm living in the United States, and, you know, I got a house, food, water. I'm okay. These people literally were like slamming on the door of the car in the window, like begging to wipe down the windows to get $1. And that dollar would feed them for a day. Or just like literally 5-year-old kids selling flowers on the street because there's nothing else to sell. Or them having to trek all the way to the gas station to get a gallon of gas to walk back so that they can drive to work. And so I'm like, how is my life hard compared to these people? But these people are not depressed. They're not unhappy. Depression only existed within my high school, my college, where people were like way richer than me, but somehow they couldn't even muster up the courage to go to class. Like they would literally believe they had chemical imbalances with their brain. They were popping SSRIs every single day. But it's like you come from a good home. You got a pool. Like these people have like elevators in their houses. They got golden retrievers. Their mom doesn't work. Their mom's on Xanax all day. They have a good life. Xanax mom, golden retriever, pool, like good life. And they could not even get out of their bed without smoking weed. It's like these people can't do anything. But the kids in Haiti are enjoying, they love life.
Yeah.
You know, and they have the hardest life possible. What do you tell the people that come from that upbringing? How do you tell them to man up? How do you tell them to become interesting? How do you tell them to go find pain? Because you were saying streaming, but that if we're going to be honest, 99% of people are not going to be successful streaming. Like that can't be that can't be the only way out.
You know, I just want to say what you've just said just really moved me. I think there was a lot of significance in that. The kids in Haiti had nothing and none of them had depression. I find that's so interesting. We've got privileged kids here, newest clothes, expensive trainers, AirPods, listening to whoever rapper, some sad boy rapper who's taking like drugs and stuff, talking about depression, talking about sadness and stuff. And yeah, it's so interesting. The people with the least never complain about depression. And in fact, you see them often full of joy. It's strange, isn't it? It's like they're hungry, but they've also got joy. It's very interesting. What would I say to the guy who's trying to build up this interesting life? I think my advice would be quite similar to yours. You said the MMA gym. And I like martial arts, but for me, it was always weightlifting. And so that's where I've learned like most of my lessons in life. I've been doing this now for 10 years. And what it's taught me about life, like I was speaking to a personal trainer, and I said to him, have you had moments where it's felt like the only things you've had in your life is the gym? And he went, yeah. And we actually opened up and I said, like,
I've been there.
There's been so many times where, you know, life's crumbling, relationships horrible, family's not going well, business or career or studies is all going down. But it's that just positive feeling of like, oh no, but if I keep going to the gym, I'll make progress. It's like it's been the anchor of my life through the darkest days that I've had, the moments where I've woken up in tears, and through addictions of smoking weed every day, porn, video games, junk food, binge eating, intense anxiety. It's been the anchor for the last 10 years of my life. So you'd say MMA, I think that's amazing. For me, I'd say weightlifting.
What are you mostly doing now? Are you doing weightlifting? You're doing Muay Thai still?
Yeah, mostly weightlifting. I do a different style now. I use like kettlebells, and I do like I took these boys through. I do like fast-paced stuff, so
The
like
Joe Rogan.
explosive.
Okay.
I've not seen the Joe, but it's like imagine it's just like fast. But you throw it overhead, drop into burpees, jump back up, 10 squats, and like fast-paced. So it's 30 minutes. You're covered in sweat. Heath, did you threw up this morning or you almost threw
You
up.
okay?
So.
Nah, I'm good now. I had 2 espresso shots.
You almost 20 burpees. You said you'd do them on stream, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Nah, I said, what did I say? It was oh yeah. It was,
Let me ask, what are your goals now? So you created a proper business. You've solidified a name for yourself.
Yeah.
People are asking like, how do you become a Donna, stuff like that. You answer stuff like that all the time, but I want to know because like we're in a similar career path. What's the next step? Like, what are the next goals for Hamza?
I've made 1,000 videos on self-improvement, so I don't want to keep repeating myself.
There's only so much you could say.
Yeah, stop touching yourself. Go to the gym. Do you know what I mean? So these days I'm talking a lot more about business and entrepreneurship because that's been a huge vessel of improvement for me. And I've noticed how much of an impact it has when you have a successful business. Even if you make 1K a month, you've taken off so much pressure from your family. Your family have got some random bill that stressed your father out. If you could give him $200, suddenly like your whole household is calmer. So these days I'm helping a lot of the young guys start their own first businesses, get a following online, learn how to monetize it, learn how to be productive. Because level 1 is like, okay, let's get these guys onto self-improvement, let's get them to improve their mental health. But past that point, self-improvement's like, it takes you to a certain level and then you get so capable that you have so much energy and productivity that you then want to use that as a gift for other people. And you can do charity work, but for many young guys, they also need to make money too. That's just entrepreneurship. So that's what I'm focused on this year.
How are you preparing to, that's another thing we got in common, is that you're preparing for fatherhood. When are you going to be ready to settle down and have kids, to stop traveling the world,
Honestly, I've been ready for the past few months. Honestly, it's like, so.
How old are you? You're 26?
26, yeah. So I've done a lot of research. So basically the first big step is finding out where you want to have the children, which country. And so far, England is probably my top option, England or Scotland. And the reason why is because the homeschool laws here are very lenient.
You want the mother of your kids to homeschool?
Not the mother, just like
tutors?
We'll have tutors. I'm a good teacher myself, but we'll just have tutors and stuff because I've got money for that. And I think it's absolutely essential that you homeschool your children. Otherwise, no matter what school you go to, even in Switzerland, which has the best schools, there's still so much conditioning they'll go through. They're sat next to other kids which are just brain dead. They're all making fun of your daughter because she doesn't have TikTok or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So if you're a base person, you're not on like media.
Yeah, England or Scotland. I didn't expect you to say Scotland though. Yeah. The only thing I know about Scotland is Skyfall from James Bond and like the thick accents and the skirts. Why Scotland?
No one moves to Scotland other than me, bro. But it's basically where you go if you want to have a very rural experience. You want to have your own land. You want to have.
You really value the outdoors, huh?
Very much so, especially for my children, bro. Like I'm in a city right now because I want to be connected to other guys. I want to have this fast-paced lifestyle and enjoying this.
When you're building, it's good to be around a lot of people.
It's awesome, yeah. It's so nice because a lot of like the development from my level that I've got to is like I need these conversations. It's this moment, this conversation will be in my mind for the next year when I talk about Islam, when I talk about streaming, whatever. So, but for my children, it's countryside only, and not just like an an urban place where you've got a back garden. No, like a massive field. They can go out. You're not worrying about them, like, going over to the neighbor's house and they're feeding them seed oils or tap water or like, telling them what gender.
How many genders are,
do you know what I mean? So you need your own place. Basically, the best case scenario that I've researched and come up with is building the compound where you've got a bunch of land, you've got 4, 5, 10 houses in there of the people that you love, the family. So my brother, his wife, we've got other families.
A trusted community.
That's how we should be living.
Yeah.
No one should be living just solo. Like it makes it okay. If you're in the big city, you're here for a little while. You're traveling with business.
It's good to build, but do you believe in that phrase? It takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too. That it'd be good to have like a wife that's doing a lot of the homeschooling. You have tutors, but I can't see myself being domesticated and living there all the time.
Oh no, the man should still go out to war.
That's what I agree. All the fathers that I travel with, like all these guys, they're always on the go. Like they're very home. Like I don't know if you know Sartola Shooter, he's in Dubai.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ajab. These guys they have kids, but they're always doing something, and it's different than how the fathers in my community were. I think it's important to really maintain your masculinity and be able to the hunter always has to go out, and then he
Exactly.
returns and he brings the food back to the tribe. He's not always there with the mom changing the
Exactly.
diapers with the cubs.
That's just, I was literally just on a podcast talking about this, and I said, okay, visualize the warrior and the goddess. Imagine a relationship before feminism, before estrogenics and low testosterone. How did man and woman actually interact? It was warrior and goddess. What that means is warrior is off at the training camp, away from home for weeks at a time. Brutal training, waking up next to his brothers, into the cold lake, Spartan training, whips, and getting beaten by wooden swords to toughen him up. And then he gets leave for 24 hours. He's allowed to go back home to see his woman. Imagine him walking through that hut. Is he going to, like, cuddle up in bed and, you know, start watching Netflix or something? No. They're going to go primal, like animalistic for literally like 8 hours straight. They're non-stop. They're just going to be making love. And then he's off again.
Yeah.
And think about it. They saw the best of each other.
Right.
They saw masculine and feminine polarity. That's all they saw. They didn't see like poo-poo stains in the toilet.
They're not seeing the weak
like,
moments from the father, and that's going to leave a giant impact on the child.
What's that?
They're not seeing, the Cubs are never seeing the father have any weak moments.
Yeah, exactly. He's a superhero. So
Exactly.
he's off training right now, superhero. He comes back in and he's polarized with the mother. He's given us his full undivided presence. He's here for a short amount of time, which makes him more valuable, makes him more respected. And the moment he leaves, his children, especially his woman, yearn for him again. It's like it's kind of like scarcity. There's always less of you than they want. Whereas the modern relationship where you move in together and you're just friends 24/7, all you've just done is take away masculine and feminine and meet in the middle of this weird gray,
The 50-50
androgynous
equal
zone.
relationship.
Which is like, yeah, sure, like have a friend if you want. But a woman's never going to be as good of a friend to you as a man is. So all you've just done is taken the magic of sexual polarity, diminish it, and you've just got like a weird, like kinda okay friend.
It's kind of like a lesbian relationship. One thing that it's controversial, but I don't really like spending that much time with women.
Yeah.
It just seems like the conversations, like recently since I reverted, I've gone on a few dates. I know it's around, it's not perfect, but I'll go on I'll take a girl out to a dinner and hang out with them, and the conversation cannot be. Now that I'm more clear-headed and I understand what I want for the future and what I believe in, it cannot be more of a waste of time. Talking about astrology, what movies she's seen. Her interests are just not my interests whatsoever. And she's asking like, oh, how many brothers do you have? Oh, how many when were you born? Oh, and her stories are not interesting. And I'm pretty much just trying to impress her. She's trying to sound cultural. She has nothing there's no value that I could extract from that conversation. And it's like, well, why am I going to try to impress this girl that I don't want to spend time with? So I've cut that out completely. Hopefully, when I get married, like I want to. Sorry, guys. One of the main criticisms that I have with the red pill people and the manosphere, if you will, is that they don't seem to value intelligence in women. Like they kind of want the dishwasher submissive. They'll only talk about submissiveness. But I would like to have an intelligent woman that I could have a conversation with too. What do you think is the ideal mother? Because now you're training and you're actively working to become the ideal father. What's the balance to that?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, that's something that I found in the red pill community as well. They really want the traditional relationship on her side, not on theirs. And then, like, just having a woman who basically just does chores around the house and lets you have sex with her. That's like, oh yeah, it's fine, but it's not the ultimate level. Like, I think you should have a woman who you find is incredibly interesting, well-educated, has stories. You find her, like, so inspiring. So, like, for example, you could have two different women, but one of them you just find is so inspiring that you want to work harder. There's women that you've probably been around who, like, you notice that your body language is better. You notice that your voice is deeper, that you're more masculine. You're staring into her eyes. You have no thoughts in your brain. And those are the women that are often quite feminine and submissive. And, like, for example, you can go on a date with a girl, and she can tell you, like, she can be a good storyteller. She's well educated, she reads books, she stays on top of current affairs and has like good viewpoints. And that can be an interesting conversation, and there's a lot of like tension that can happen in that. There's a lot of flirting that can happen. But I totally agree with you. No matter how pretty a girl is, if she's completely and utterly boring and uninteresting and uneducated, that's going to be your life partner.
Exactly. The vast majority of women are the most uninteresting that they've ever been because they all worship celebrities. It's not their fault because the lack of men who are giving them guidance. Women are always going to be programmed by the masculine, by the men that are around them, and men have never led more meaningless lives. So as a result, they end up worshiping celebrities. They end up worshiping Kim Kardashian, the rappers, like the girls that they see on Instagram, and all they're doing is pushing them to promiscuity because they believe that female empowerment is being a whore, effectively, is being, being a prostitute, going on private jets, Birkin bag. I talked to a girl and she said she's 35, and every time she goes on a first date, she asks the guy to show her bank balance. He has to show her bank balance in order to impress her. It's never been more vapid and materialistic ever, and so they have nothing to talk about. But a lot of you have to blame the men for that as well. And it makes me think, like, you talk a lot about meditation, and since I reverted, I've been taking prayer very seriously. This Ramadan, haven't missed a prayer yet. 5 prayers every single day. It's a lot.
Nice.
And I used to try meditation, but I never. It would kind of get clouded, and I wasn't sure about what to think about. Prayer, I prefer because it's very clear about what your intention should be. I'm always thinking about the health for my family, the health for my friends around me, for more strength and for more guidance to be able to protect myself from the devil, and just for praying for the people that are suffering in Gaza. What do you get from meditation? Because I was never fully able to connect with meditation.
There's loads of different styles of meditation. So the one that I preach is called Vipassana, which is like mindfulness. It's kind of like the counter to a lot of the ADHD symptoms, where you focus on one point, like the breath, the rise and fall of your stomach. And you're actually waiting for the moment that your brain has deviated focus. That's like, we're not actually upset at the moment that we get a thought. We realize that's part of the practice. And the exercise of meditation, like the bicep curl of meditation, is actually just bringing the focus back to the breath once we realize that we've lost it. So every time that we realize we've lost it and we bring the focus back, that's like we've just done one bicep curl for the brain. So we're looking out for the opportunities. You'll do it 24/7 now that you know it. We're having this conversation. Maybe in 5-10 minutes from now, you'll notice that your brain just started thinking of something irrelevant. When that happens, bring your focus back here, and that's like one more rep for your brain to stay focused on the present moment.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Because everything from the phone and everything that we see now, it's pushing people's brains to be completely distracted all the time, to be thinking about things that don't matter. So you need to work on your focus like you're doing reps in the gym.
Absolutely.
That's a great way to think about it. I think I do that pretty absent-mindedly, and it's because I started self-improvement. It's thinking about how to cut out those distractions. Ramadan has been really effective at doing that because focusing on not eating and praying all the time, like little things like picking my nails, I have this issue like that. I'm more aware of all those problems, like stuttering in conversation, or where my thoughts go. Like if I take a picture with somebody outside, like how does my brain react to that? I'm very aware about every thought that I have and how to become, how to get rid of all the fluff and how to get rid of any little distractions that I have. Do you have vices? That's one thing that I've been thinking a lot about during Ramadan. Is obviously like something like shisha is a vice. It's not haram, but it's not recommended. I came from, like, obviously I used to be, after being a Catholic, I was kind of an atheist, and I was doing drugs and like degenerate stuff like that, like too many women and all this. But cutting that out, I've been more focused. But sometimes I do have that yearning and that urge to be like, okay, well, I think sometimes it'd be nice to have a drink.
I paused it. Okay, let's.
It'd be nice to be able to go to the club. Do you have any sort of vices?
What would you say a vice is?
A vice is anything that's pleasure-seeking that's away from your mission. I think the ultimate mission is to become the best example, to inspire others to follow God, to be a good role model for your family, to be brave, all the things that make a man a good man. So anything that does not follow that specific mission, where you got to step away from that, and the dad goes into the garage and then smokes a little weed while the kids are upstairs playing, and he's had a long day of work. His little escapism. I would say a vice is an escapism from your mission. Do you have any of those?
Loads of them. So many of them, bro.
Do you try to cut them out?
Of course. Yeah, of course. But like the desire for the food that used to give me comfort during my most traumatic moments.
Oh,
desire, food is a big one.
Did you used to be fat?
Huh?
Did you used to be fat?
I was chubby. I was like, okay. I wasn't fat, but I was chubby though, yeah. And the desire for women and like the intimacy that you feel like you lacked when you were younger. I I'd even say validation is a vice as well.
100%.
Honestly, like, I had a weird dream. I literally just this morning where I felt like I organized this meetup, and all my boys were, you know, having fun in like this massive park. And it was literally just me becoming aware of like, oh, but like I'm not getting attention. We should all come back here. And I was like, that's what I woke up. I was like, you're lame as fuck. Like I wanted everyone to stop playing the sports and like come look at me. And I was like, oh shit. Like if you're in this career, you crave validation, not only
100%.
for whatever like deep internal problem,
But being
also
successful
because
at this
it's
job,
business as well. Yeah. So
it means you're doing well.
we've monetized our
Or
inner
narcissism.
child.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm wondering how you deal with that. I think that's something that we can relate on that a lot of people don't fully understand. I think Warner does a good job of that because he's successful on social media, but you don't have any sort of that like attention seeking or the need to be, you know, the center of attention. Your full focus is on dawah.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because I'm not inviting people to myself. Myself, I'm full of flaws. I'm full of mistakes. I'm inviting people to Allah, which is greater
Mashallah.
than me. So for me, my job is easy. I just invite people to the perfect one. It's as simple as that, bro. For me, there's no ego in this.
Right.
Yeah, there's no ego in this.
Yeah, how much of your ego is involved? It's something, it's an imperfection. It's something that all content creators have, that I have, I'm sure you have. How are you, what goes through your mind? This is actually a question that I can't relate to a lot of people on. Like when you have people come up to you and take pictures and like, you know, glaze or whatever they say, like, you know, they're really excited. Where does your brain go?
There's a few different things. So I've got to make a good impression. I've got to look good in the picture because he's going to share it. So a lot of the times my brain says like negative things about people the first time I meet them. It's just, I don't know why, like inner critic or something. And I often have to manually say something nice about the person in my brain.
To offset the negative.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like I'll meet a kid who's new to a self-improvement journey. He's not in shape.
Yeah.
And my brain will start criticizing him
Dork.
for that. Yeah. And I was literally fat this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I have to remind myself, no, wait, like, you know, he's going to the gym, remember? Like, you know, when I was 17, 18 years old, I deserved the level of respect for actually going out there into the world. So it's often quite negative, I won't lie to you. It's a lot of the self-improvement, like the mental things that I've done, it's like an uphill battle of manually trying to change the words that your brain says and the feelings that you get. It's one of the greatest bits of transformation for me is mind and body feelings and learning how to control them. Like you'd be surprised of just how powerful faking a smile can be. I fake a smile and like literally like 10 seconds later, I'm actually fairly cheerful.
Yeah, there's studies that show that like standing up in the morning and putting just your hands up in the air or standing like Superman, that actually increases dopamine.
Testosterone.
Testosterone. It just puts you in a better mood. That's what I did in the
bathroom, bro, before I came here. That's why I was late.
It's a good way to get in the right mindset, bro. Like that's all part of it, bro. It'll give you more confidence.
We were actually wondering, like, yo, where's he at? You know?
Yeah. Well, it puts you in the right mindset, 100%, bro.
No, I was waiting for him to get changed, bro. He's like, oh, wait 1 sec, let me change my jumper or something.
In terms of your personal self-improvement, where do you think that you've improved on since we had beef in 2022? What's been the major developments? I'm not sure. I want to think of mine, but I'm curious about what yours have been.
Loads, bro. Limiting beliefs around money was a huge one. So I was stuck in this I don't know, this negative mindset that if I was an entrepreneur, that would be a bad thing. That if I was making money, that was, you know, people would criticize me for that. You know, you must have had it. It's like you release a program and your most loyal fans dislike you for it. And they say like, oh, it was all for money. And you look at them and think like, wait, but you're a young man who wants to make money as well. Like, why would you hate me on this when like you could be inspired and learn from it? So I was very, very sensitive towards like seeing the comments. And that stopped me as an entrepreneur, which the biggest thing I'm ashamed of was that I had people relying on me and I wasn't monetizing well. And so I had to fire good people because I couldn't afford to keep them because I was just afraid of what
I remember you would quit YouTube and you'd fired your editors.
Because it was the most stressful period of my life. We weren't profitable. Like we were making all these purposeful videos changing the world. But it wasn't profitable. People were calling me like a sellout businessman. We were losing money every single day. We were losing like $500 a day to make these like videos that were popping off on the algorithm.
But the reception with the audience was probably the best it ever was.
It was crazy back then.
That was like that before I started live stream when I was making those like artistic videos that spent 2 weeks grinding, like filming, editing, re-editing. It's like I spent like a week on a 4-minute video. and then it's demonetized because I'm cursing and I'm talking about real world issues. You make no money on it, and then but everyone nowadays is like, oh, I miss the old stuff. You seem like you changed, like you sold out. Like, well, I'm now more successful. I'm more effective. I'm able to talk faster. I'm able to put more. There's more output times 10. You can't do that forever. It's not sustainable long term.
Your old videos, they were iconic and artistic. But I remember having that conversation with you where you actually asked me, like, should you maybe go back to making more videos like that or continue live streaming? And I saw the change in you where even though you are an artist, something flipped and you actually started to want to send more of a message instead of just creating art. What was that?
I think it was waking up to how controlled I was as a man. I mean, they do try to suppress masculinity. They do want you to fit into their agenda. And it was a built up frustration with like, okay, the whole system that's laid out for me, it's all a lie. I'm not going to abide by this. And I wanted everybody to know, like, if you can't listen to them. Everything that they're telling you to do is you should do the exact opposite. And so it came from a place of anger. And now I consider what I do extremely. I think it's the best work that I could be doing. Obviously, I do want to return to those artistic videos too. I still make some. I don't know if you've seen Letter from Mecca. I made a video for my first Umrah back in November. But it's difficult now because I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm very limited in what I'm supposed to be doing. There's a big part of me that yearns to be able to make those videos again. But if I was posting them on Rumble, let's be honest, like how many people? It'd be a fraction of the people. It'd be a big waste. Twitter's good to do that type of thing, but I do plan on going back to that. I don't think streaming is my full purpose. It has been those videos that you're talking about, but. How did you win the respect again of your audience when you started to branch out and you weren't, just in your room with the hood on? How did you get that respect back from the core audience that thought you were selling out by branching out more and making it profitable?
Honestly, I don't think I really did. I think I've just started to develop a newer audience. So I got a massive audience of, like young teenagers, and I had to evolve. Which I know that's one of the things I respect you for, is that you've never delayed your evolvement as a man, even though there's so many people who are pressuring you to say, like, be like the old SNEAKO, be like this. Like, you're basically a lesser version of yourself just because they're able to relate to you more, which is an extremely selfish and a very painful thing to hear as a creator, because you're like, people are just saying like, oh, you've surpassed me. I wish you'd slow down because I felt like we were closer and more friend-like. Like our parasocial relationship was better, and yeah, it's insane. So I don't even think I've regained the respect of people. I think I permanently lost the respect of the original audience many of the original audience that I built.
Which is strange to me because it seems like you're talking about the same things.
It's just that now it's more entrepreneurship because of how much it's changed my life and how much it would change theirs. But there's certain topics, like with you, it'll be religion. With me, right now, I'm in the season of entrepreneurship, where it's just people are very sensitive towards that. Like, as soon as you came out as Muslim, I guarantee you lost like thousands of subscribers. You started getting more hate. I assume you did, like, from people who are atheists. And for me, it's like, it's the same thing where it's a sensitive topic, and so people just find a way to be offended with it, with no matter what your decision is.
They're always going to be upset. I mean, you can't listen to that. You can't listen to those people. The only way as a man is to continue to grow and improve every single day. You're never going to be the same Hamza. You have to continue to improve. The only way is forward. But when you talk about entrepreneurship, where does that go? Does it stay online? Does it go to real estate? Does it go to a physical business? That's something that I wrestle with all the time because I don't see myself doing content creation forever. I don't see myself doing streaming forever. I do envision a life where I can finally step away from the camera and I don't need to constantly think about the validation from people or having to appease an audience that always is begging you to be a certain way. There's a time where I could see myself, getting out of that and being able to live a more realistic life, like that vision of Scotland, homeschooling the kids and all that. That seems appealing. But then at the same time, it's like, can you really get out at a certain time? Like, has your brain been wired so much to get used to the output of video admiration videos? Like, How do you get out of that routine? Because the dopamine levels, the up and down, and then you check your YouTube and you see like that 1 out of 10 and that dopamine, of course. Everybody, YouTuber knows that like there's almost no feeling like that. It's better than cocaine. It's better than sex. It's better than anything. It's getting that number one. Like I did it. I surpassed it. And a content creator is only good as his last video. You're only as good as your last stream, no matter how much you put out. It's like you'll spar Sean Strickland and then all right, what's the next fighter I'm gonna fight? Like you can't ever bask in the glory of anything. This life is always the pursuit of something more, and if you always pursue that in terms of happiness, you're never going to be happy. I'm finding more peace in Islam because pursuing God is something is a higher pursuit for me. But do you think that you're in too deep? Can you ever get out, or do you want to?
Of course, you can have seasons of your life, and I feel like this season, like this decade for us, like our 20s, has all been about content creation. But I can't imagine we'd be grinding as hard when we're 30, 40 years old. And so what if, for example, in the decades of our lives, we're able to look back to our 20s with sweet memories of that time that we like, you took over the internet, you had this beef, everything, you had this, this life experience, you were flying out, meeting these people, doing these events.
Is that any way to live as a man? That's why you see fighters never retire and then lose their last 6 fights in a row. Or you see like a washed up athlete who's still like, like you're 45, hang up the boots, Do you think that, how are you going to be able to appreciate your career without missing, or how do you dial back that terms of that adrenaline? I think the only athlete that I've ever seen successfully leave a perfect legacy is Habib. Habib Nurmagomedov, again, like one of the best known like Muslims on Deen in the public eye, probably in the last 20 years or maybe ever. Do you think that you can hang up the boots? Do you think that you're ever going to be able to recreate that sort of adrenaline? Because as a man, it's hard to domesticate yourself again. When you're used to a certain level, like once you start making $10,000 a month, and I see people in my community all the time, like once you start getting, like there's no way you can go back. When I first dropped out of school and I was making $2,000 a month, I thought I was rich. And then you make $10,000 a month, and then you see what that life was like. And then you make, 6 digits a month. There's no way I'd be able to turn it back just in terms of ego. Right? How are you going to find that adrenaline not living life chronically online?
How can you find that same level of stimulation again?
Yeah.
Maybe you won't, thank you. Maybe you won't.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Maybe it goes from this ADHD stimulation of, the chat spamming the W's or L's or something. And maybe then it goes to like the stimulation of seeing your child smile as you teach them something. It's not the same kind of, fast-paced, like, internet, like, you just screaming on camera. So, like, it's not the same as that. But, like, imagine your little girl, like, doing that kind of, like, scream to you. Like, that's going to be your stimulation in the future, and that's still beautiful.
Yeah, and that's growth. That's getting to the next level 100%. Yeah. Why don't you have kids yet? I always envision, I'm wondering about this for you as well. I always wanted to have kids young.
Yeah.
I'm 25. When I was a teenager, when I was that kid like jerking off in my room playing Call of Duty all day, I thought like I'm going to be a young father because I want to be able to play. I want to be able to box with my son. Yeah. I want to be able to play soccer with him. Yeah. I don't want to be an old dad who doesn't have enough vitality to give him good experiences. But I'm 25 and I still don't have a kid.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about fatherhood from you.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. You asked me why I'm not a father yet. There was I was fairly certain I'd be an expecting father
by now.
Late last year or by now, yeah. Because, I mean, finances is set, and I do feel like I'm mature enough, and I'm sure that I'd learn on the job as well. And I'm quite prepared. I'm healthy. I've already set, like, the full-on homeschooling plan and the fertility plan and everything. I like to, think things through. So I know, like, the diet that I'd go on when we're getting ready to conceive and stuff like that. So all of that's prepared. It's just I ended up feeling more called towards this season of life, where I really asked myself, what would be the ultimate, like, lifestyle that I could have right now? And it would be just keep spreading this message more. I did that sort of, let's hunker down in Scotland and let's get ready to, like, we were looking at houses there. And I lost a lot of that edge of myself, that domesticated man personality came out into me. And I realized, like, just at one of the last moments that wasn't the kind of lifestyle that I'd want to live, even with children. I'm confused of the last part of, like, what is the best dynamic for the father? Because having tested the lifestyle that we would have, which is, me and my woman live in this countryside, and we've got like, our little compound here. We had the next like cottage or building over with my brother and his wife. And I wasn't satisfied with life, even with setting up the perfect thing. Like, we were in the most beautiful area. And it was because, like,
There wasn't enough ambition?
there was more work to do, way more work. It's like,
Understand.
that's the environment which I think would be best for my family, but not for me. And I think that's what I need to come to terms with. And I think like that's what you're thinking as well.
Yeah.
Is I don't think a man is supposed to be in the same home as his wife and children 24/7. I don't
Not
think it's
24/7,
healthy.
no.
But it's so strange to not consider that. So me and my girl we would always have like not arguments, but massive disagreements because she found it so strange. She was like, what you mean? Like we'd never live together. And I was trying to figure out, like, what would we do? Should I just get a house next to hers or something? Should I, I'll be constantly moving around, but she isn't. Like, that's where I'm stuck at now, is thinking about the actual, like, living dynamic. Because one thing I know for certain is man, woman, living in the same house, 24/7, especially with our kind of work, like working from home.
It's not it.
It's a destruction for relationships. It's terrible just how much your relationship suffers.
And the women don't understand. They're like, oh, why don't you want to spend time with me? It's like, well, I want to maximize the time with you.
Yeah.
Like, you got to tell your girl, like, you're going to love me more if you see me less.
Exactly, yeah, exacely. Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to be able to explain to them. They think that they want all your time and attention, but if they have all of it, you're not going to be, they're going to end up despising you. That's the quickest way to destroy a relationship.
It's really not about quantity. There's a phrase in a book I really like, which is that if your woman is demanding too much of your time, tell her that you can give her a specific amount of time with your undivided presence. So 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And that your woman will actually be happier with 10 minutes of your full-on presence where you're staring into her eyes, you're being really romantic, than 3 weeks with you next to her, checking your phone and, just being a normal guy and, like, kind of speaking to her, but also thinking about business. Like, one of the things I learned, you asked me the biggest changes I had in 2023. It was presence and love and spirituality. It was like I have such a capability to love in such a deep way that I didn't even think was possible. I always assumed love and relationship was like you guys go on dates, you have sex, you hang out together. I was able to tap into like a certain energy, like Shiva-like energy, where I'm able to like stare at her eyes and make her feel 100% loved. And I've realized now that 30 seconds of me doing that with my hands like on her cheeks and like, staring into her eyes is far better than an entire date.
Than yapping all day long and looking up in the sun.
Oh, what did you do? What did you do today? And none of that matters.
Biggest trap and also it domesticates you. Your testosterone gets low. You get too comfortable. It's not going to work. And that's why women fall in love with guys that are in prison. Yeah, and then they write them every single day. It's the idea. You romanticize it. So much of love and a proper relationship is just the idea of the person, is the yearning. And that woman who's at home, like staring through the window, thinking, when is her husband going to come back from war?
Exactly.
That sort of love is stronger than when you're there all the time. Yeah. It's an almost impossible thing to describe to a woman.
It's just scarcity. That's it. If you're there, your value decreases because your time is so abundant together. But when you're constantly having to go off somewhere, it means that the time that you do have is far more valuable. You're going to have to spend it, right? If it's like Parkinson's law, or it's kind of like when you've got a deadline for an exam, you're going to get it done in time. You're going to, whatever the assignment is at 7 p.m. today, you suddenly just focus and get it done. It's like having deadlines with the time that you have for women. It's like, no, I literally have 35 minutes. That's all I've got. And imagine just that once per week. What's she going to see from you? Is she going to see you scrolling? Is she going to see you like, I don't know, killing time or doing some weird shit or whatever, quickly business call or, let me just write that. No, of course not. She's only going to see the most present, loving version of you, which means that, fair enough, the quantity isn't there. But when do you need high quantity to attract a woman anyway? The mysterious, like, you'll remember this from the player days, like being more mysterious and detached is primarily attractive to a woman. Now, just have that in a non-haram way with your wife.
100%. Yeah. Do you recommend that young guys get into relationships, or do you recommend that they build themselves up first? The moment that I'm at right now in my life is that I get encouragement from all these guys, Warner, Muhammad Ajab. They always tell me, like, oh, where are your wives? Where are your 2, 3, 4 wives? And I'm working so hard right now, and I'm in the stage of building where I think that having a woman, and even like seeing her scarcely, that would distract and that would take away from what I'm trying to do. So I would recommend, especially with how easy it is for a man to get lost in a woman now. I'm sure you've seen this all the time. That's the quickest way that a man can get distracted and to lose himself is investing too much in a woman, is obsessing about what are the times that, how long is she going to take back to reply to my text. I'm sure you've done that before. Like there's been times like in high school, early on, late teens, 20s, where I would like wait to double the response time. Like if she texted me after 5 minutes, I was looking at the clock, like 5 minutes, okay, set a timer, like wait 10 minutes. Okay, how was your day? How was your? And it's just you're just sinking your time into nothing. Yeah. So, and I think the reason that happens is because like we're too oversensitized with porn and things like that. So it's become more of an obsession than it ever has been. So right now, like cleansing my mind of all that, it's like in Islam we say we make wudu before we pray. So you wash your hands, you wash your head, and everything before you pray to God. Right now, I feel like I'm making wudu of women. So I'm just like. All this, like I've been way too distracted from the player stuff. Just let me cleanse that, get out of my, like completely take out porn. Like every time I see a beautiful woman, like lower my gaze, just reset my mind because we're so stimulated when it's the most over-sexualized culture has ever been. And ironically that people are having less sex than ever because it's thrown in our face all the time. You're not going to be attracted to a regular girl if you're seeing like the celebrities like bend over and grab their vagina on stage. Do you recommend that guys, actually look for a good relationship, or do you think that's too much of a distraction and they should go their own way?
I think a relationship and learning how to love is a big part of your own self-improvement journey. But the problem is doing that with the wrong woman. So the advice that I give out to guys is be on the lookout and be open to meeting an incredibly high quality girl. Set massively high standards. Even if you're young, let's say even if you're 13 years old, set massively high standards to establish what would be your 10 out of 10 dream wife.
And don't compromise.
That's it. You meet her when you're 13 years old, I would give you my blessing to like actually pursue that relationship and spend time with her. Because look, if you meet a wife quality girl, you're 14 and she's 14, it would be absurd to say like, oh no, but it's a distraction, because that's not a distraction. That's your fucking woman. That's like the mother of your children. You meet that high quality woman, it's not a distraction. That's part of like, you're just going to have to learn the skill of having that woman in your life if she's that high quality. The problem is guys will just lower their standards because most guys are so deprived from intimacy and obsessed with porn, and they don't get any matches on Tinder. No girls are interested in them.
So they see a girl that is, and they don't want to lose that.
This is the tricky part. They get onto self-improvement. They start doing these productive things that they hear from me and you. And every 3 to 6 months, they've increased in value, and then they attract the first like low tier 4 out of 10 girl that showed them some attraction. Yeah. And then they say, oh no, guys, she's actually an 11 out of 10, but she vapes. And then that's their reality. They fall in love with her and then say that she's on self-improvement because they made her meditate once. Mm-hmm. And then, they're falling in love, and then they're getting so sad when she wants to go out and party. And every day there's a post in Adonis School which people will be like, oh, she's my, dream wife quality girl, but I don't know if I want to be with her because she parties a lot. And I always I swear at him. I was like, are you retarded? I literally will, like, I swear at my boys all the time. I was like, are you retarded?
They need to hear that.
You told me she's wife quality, but she parties too much and you're thinking about breaking up. Where the hell did wife quality come in for this?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think with high standards, I would give a young man my blessing.
With high standards only.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this because I struggle with this. I think that I think porn is the quickest vice that destroys a man's soul. I think nothing corrupts a man's soul quicker than pornography, and that's why it's pushed so much. Because
thank you, brother.
Thank you. If they can corrupt us as soon as possible, then they win. Then we're relying on them forever. And then we're looking for solutions. We're not on our mission. We're not going to be following God. We're not going to be doing the right thing. How do you get out of porn addiction?
That's a good question, bro. It's a lot.
This is a lesson I learned from the gym.
It's bro, it's biggest problem for man. Because if you were addicted to porn, then you are now the stage of life that worse than ever. Because I went from that, but yeah, sometimes it happens. It happens, bro, with me. I know. Because when you don't have any work, then it's make you, I think, that depression, that anxiety make you that sexual desire, make your desire so very sexual, and do that thing and go to browser and search on, you know what I mean that by that. It's the very biggest issue, bro, for man, because if it don't if it don't ban, then you can't go. This society will be will be destroyed.
It's progressive overloading, but kind of like in the opposite way. Many guys I feel like struggle really badly with nofap because they hear about it and they're like, okay, sweet, so I just won't fap, I just won't watch porn. And when I get to 90 days, then everything will be cured.
Yeah.
So they've set this massive goal to just stop cold turkey on this addiction that they've built up for 10 years straight. And naturally they get to what? 1 day, 2 days, right? And they're like, and then they're upset, oh, I failed, and everything's reset. When actually, like, saying that you want to get to 90 days of nofap is like walking into the gym and saying, oh, I want to get to 100 kg bench press on my first day. And if I don't hit 100 kg bench press, then the session was wasted. And another thing is nofap itself is like, it's very important to not be watching porn, not be fapping. But you need to go through the trials and tribulations of the journey. You need that transition period of weeks, even months. Even for me, it was about 2-3 years where I got to the point where I just don't even fap. It's not part of my identity. I don't fap. It's so rare that basically it doesn't happen. Maybe it's once every year, once every 2 years now. That's it. And usually for a purposeful reason as well. But
You got those before you sign a big contract or something like that. It's good to
Just
squeeze one out so you're not impulsive. Yeah. Before, if you're thinking about getting married to a girl, squeeze it out and make sure you're thinking right and you're thinking with the right head. Absolutely. I mean, like, think about it. When heroin addicts go into rehab, they don't immediately just go cold turkey off of heroin. They're gonna die.
progressive deload.
They need to. They give them morphine. They give them methadone. They take some pills slowly. You're not going to be able to quit cold turkey. Your body's not going to be able to function.
That's my advice for these guys. It's like, stop trying to think, okay, you're on day 0, let's get to day 90. Forget days and streaks because it's so stupid. And rather just think, okay, how many times did you used to fap before? Let's say once a day. So let's say 30 times a month. This month, make it 27. You're telling me that you, like, if I told you, okay, you can fap 27 times this month and you can't achieve that goal. Like, that's easy, right? So, okay, get
That's
to 27.
actually a great way to think about it
more.
because then it makes it.
It's a positive. It's like a weird, such an easy goal to accomplish. Like, you get to fap 27 times this month.
But I feel like if you know it and you check it off your list, like this 27, it turns like something that's pleasure seeking into something that's really autistic. That's it. And it's like you're like, oh, this is 26. It's robotic now. Yeah. It's not. It's not.
It's just self-improvement, bro. It's a habit tracker. Okay, and then look, next month, make it 24. Next month, make it 21. 6 months from now, you're on like once a month. Okay, that's like, bro, that's fine. Once a month is fine. Let's say you even want to drop it down that. Okay, 6-7 months from now, you've cured your 10-year addiction. The problem is when guys have this fucked up expectations from nofap YouTubers that have told them, okay, day 90, you'll levitate and end. Like the streak is what's important. Nofap streak benefit timeline. Yeah. You get to day 14 and no. That's completely bakwas. There's no streak. Your body doesn't think in streaks. That's like saying to a fat guy, get into the gym and this is what's going to happen to you. Day 7, you get all these benefits. Day 14, you get all these. And by the way, fatty.
Bro, I feel pee, so I have to go to bathroom. So wait a minute and I'll be back. I'll be back, bro. I'll be back for after a minute. I'm back, bro. I'm back. Okay. Oh, we skip that part. Okay. Let's watch it.
You miss one day, all of it resets.
They're not, yeah.
Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't all reset. How stupid is that? But imagine how inhumane that would be if you convinced the guy who was trying to lose weight or a skinny kid trying to bulk up and you told them if you miss one day, all of your progress is gone.
It's more about a lifestyle shift rather than thinking that you're going to get immediate progress. It's just an overall lifestyle shift. Yeah, it's been difficult for me, and I would say advice for people that are trying to do that is like cut out porn. If you, I mean, no fap is hard to go immediately, but the biggest thing is to cut out porn.
Yeah.
And I would think the way to start becoming disgusted with it is to know that it's psychological warfare. That it was used by
psyop,
it was used in 2002. Israel used it as a weapon of warfare on the Palestinians. They broadcasted Israel hijacked TVs in Palestine, and they got to
It's true. I didn't know about that, bro.
show anything. And you think that a lot of countries, like maybe China, that would have shown propaganda. They would have shown soldiers, and they would have made the enemy seem like the good people. Palestinians was porn. Used as psychological warfare. So cut that out immediately. And I think that's a proper step. And then if you really have to, it's good to go back into the memories, if anything.
I've never heard that before. The Israel. That's so
100%,
interesting.
yeah.
That's people don't realize how much subversion there is in our world.
It's pretty much everything. It's almost
you don't realize that everything we hear on the news, everything we even watch on social media, even this stream right now is funded by CCP or some shit.
What are you about to say?
No, it's very interesting. But do you think that your environment has something to do with it as well? Because for me, I spend time in Saudi Arabia like a few times a year, and I notice when I live in Los Angeles, and it's a very sexualized culture. America is a very sexualized culture, especially Los Angeles, because the weather is so good. So most of the time, people are half naked all the time. It's kind of like Miami. But when you go to a place like Saudi Arabia, where all the women are
I've been there, bro. Saudi Arabia is a good place. It's not Saudi Arabia. Makkah and Medina is a good place for living, but its cost is so high. But if you have money, then you should go there. And are you Muslim? If you are Muslim, then you have to live there, because it will be the best place ever. And you will fix your iman, cause that place for Islamic people, for Muslim. Okay, go there, bro. If I'll have money, if I would have money, then I'll go there.
covered. Suddenly, you're just not thinking about that anymore.
Yep.
All you see is eyes. You don't see booty everywhere. You don't see all that anywhere. And then suddenly, that's not what your mind is just.
Because men are visual creatures. So that's the benefit of being around an Islamic culture where women are covered up. Like, you're not going to feel the proclivity to jerk off because you're not seeing women, and your brain is not. You're not seeing the stimulation of sexual activity all the time. But when you're in the West and it's everywhere, you're constantly going to be thinking about it. You're more likely to be able to do it.
Yeah, you see a pretty girl.
At the same time, the only naked woman you see is your wife. Nowadays, if you're married or you think your wife is beautiful, you go outside, you see like 100 women that are more beautiful than your wife, and then you have to come back home to her. You're always going to be displeased, and you're always going to see something better than your own wife. But in Islamic society, the only naked woman you see is your wife. You're going to be extremely pleased with her.
How many wives do you believe in monogamy?
Yeah, sure. But I believe in it.
Yeah.
Why would you not believe in it?
No, I think that's part of the domestication. That's another thing that Islam got right. I don't think that men are designed to be monogamous. Could you have multiple, or you want to stick to the one?
I could have multiple, yeah. It depends on the woman I'm with. I don't think some men are supposed to be monogamous. I wouldn't want to give that message out to the masses like Tate has done. I think that could be problematic. But some men are not supposed to be monogamous, and even if they discipline themselves to be monogamous, no one actually wins because it's just a countdown till they cheat. So
What other problems do you think? I'm sure you think about this all the time. What issues do you think arose from that? The red pill rise, the fresh and fit, from Tate, stuff like that. What could be corrected? Because it was really loud. The whole manosphere the past 2 years. You're in that space. What do you think that world got wrong?
The personality that you adopt to mass sleep with girls. You adopt this, this asshole, jerk kind of bad boy persona. And it does actually make you more successful with quantity, with sleeping with girls.
But with low quality women.
That's it. It's basically, you attract a woman by loving her or interacting with her the same way that her father did. So the reason why, that thing of like taking a while to reply, the reason why that works on damaged women is because their father did that to them. Mm-hmm. And so you trigger the same kind of familiar emotions that her father used to give her. That's why.
You're recreating a toxic relationship.
And what kind of woman is going to be down to fuck? The ones without the father figures.
Exactly.
So it's interesting that like, and this is the interesting part actually, is when you level up that skill and that personality, that side of you, you think it's awesome because, okay, I get to sleep with these girls. The problem you don't realize is it ingrains so well deep inside of you that when you actually meet a genuinely like high quality woman, you meet more of a traditional woman, maybe she's like Eastern European or Muslim or something.
You don't know how to speak to her.
You actually, like, I can't tell you how much I've messed up with good quality women. Because I've negged them, I've been distant from them, I didn't reply, you know what I mean? And the good quality women, if you neg them, they literally will just believe you don't like them and they'll like you less. Like, this is what like is so interesting. A woman who's not damaged, if you don't reply fast to her, she'll think, oh, he doesn't like me, and she'll like you less. Yeah. If you don't reply fast to like a normal Western woman, she'll like you more because of the fact that you've got this toxic trait of being like distant.
Yeah, that's everything in game when it comes to these tactics in order to win a woman's arousal. It's all feeding into the fact that they don't have good male role models around. Exactly. It's just all of game is to pick up low quality women to lie, and in order to sell her a dream, to make her think that you're going to be in a long-term relationship with her, when in reality you just want to sleep with her and then never speak to her again. So it's bad on your soul. You're trading energy with women that you don't want to spend time with. You're lying all the time, and you're not having good quality people around you. It's all deception. It's all deception. Then how are you able to start to attract good quality women? That's one thing too. When they always tell me like, "Oh, you need to get married. You need to get married." I don't think that I'm a good enough Muslim yet. I mean, maybe that's like an insecurity thing, but I want to be able to be a better Muslim because I want to have a good Muslim woman. It's like, am I really ready I want to know more about the religion in order to be able to teach her, right? I want to be a better person. I'm coming out of this degenerate New York lifestyle. How do I become a better man first before I really earn a good quality woman? Like, I don't feel like I've earned it yet. I don't think I've got to that point where I can even deserve that. Maybe that's imposter syndrome or something. But
well, I mean, the Quran says that good men are for good women and bad men are for bad women. So it's very clear. So maybe Allah is preparing you to be a good man to prepare you for your good wife.
Do you think you're a good man?
I do. But I'm not where I want to be yet. And there's still cobwebs that I'm shaking off, but inshallah it's going to happen soon. But how did you adjust that? Because I had that same issue. Like I knew how to sleep with low quality women, and then I started talking to girls that come from like, a good household, rich family, dad was there, conservative upbringing, all that. And then the communication was off, and I'm sure you've had this experience. You talk to that girl, and you can tell that she knows you're full of shit. Yeah. And she's looking, you're talking, you're doing these tactics. You kind of got this fuckboy thing, like,
got the alpha male body, like,
all that stuff, like you're doing, all that. And she's like, look at this. I can look in her eyes, and she's like, this guy's a cornball. And that's the most like that destroys your ego because like she can see right through the facade. All the tricks and all the game that you learn to pick up low quality women in the club.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work on her. It's like if the magician came here and none of the tricks work. You're like, who's this? Get him out of here. Yeah. How did you switch from low quality women to good quality women?
Honestly, I won't give the same answer that I think a lot of guys in our space will say, which is like, oh, make money and go to the gym. Because those things are basic. Those things will just help you attract women in general.
That's a standard.
That's a hygiene standard. Like, be a hardworking guy, have a job, make money. But the biggest difference I found was learning the skill of love. Learning, like, why your childhood
Learn
experiences are
every
causing
time.
you to act in ways right now, and it's very deep things. It's like
You are
what,
doing
why
it,
does it
bro.
hurt you when, for example, she hasn't replied, or when she said this, or when she acted like that, when she pulls away at a certain moment? Why does that hurt you? And you really think back and you're like, oh, there was this one memory with my mother and she did something like that. Like, you don't realize how much you have these deep, like, subconscious motivators, and, like, internal beliefs. Like, a belief from mine is like, I've always been fairly anxious. So a belief from my
You don't come
childhood,
off that way at all.
I'm fine in, like, in certain settings, but I can overthink about a lot of things, especially if I'm in a vulnerable situation. So I'm physically anxious if I walk through somewhere, or even just in general. I'm constantly vigilant, constantly looking out. I'm anxious in relationships if I feel like there's any sign at all that she could be cheating or not faithful. That was the biggest thing for me, and I found that was such a block for me to have a loving relationship, because I was so afraid that she would cheat on me, based on a mixture of childhood experiences of, being anxious in love, but then also from conditioning, red pill stuff, and,
Right.
women are hoes, women are going to cheat
Right,
on
right,
you.
right. Also, I noticed that when I was thinking that a lot, it was because I was cheating. And so my insecurity, like, is she cheating on me? Is because I was messaging a bunch of girls and I
Yeah,
was cheating. So you kind of project that insecurity
yeah,
onto the girl.
yeah.
But how did you get out of that? That's one thing that I think a lot of guys are looking for.
For the anxiety.
Yeah, yeah. How do you? Because a woman smells that on you.
Yeah.
A woman smells the anxiety better. That's what's one thing. It's something that's intuitive about them. They're able any. Women are really good at detecting lies, like way better than men are. They're able to just smell. They can tell when a guy's phony. And when I've had a good relationship with girls, like sometimes I like having a girl around when I'm meeting somebody for the first time, because they're able to sniff out things in men that I'm not able to ever detect. Like, oh, he did this here, and like this is why he's bullshitting. They have a better bullshit detector.
Yeah.
So how do you?
Bro, they got lots of women, but I am a single boy. I never touched a girl, and yeah, and I don't have any love story. I don't have any relationship with a woman, but one uh I had, but I don't know. I think I didn't contact him a lot. I didn't contact him for a long time, so I have to contact him. What? Bro, English is so broken. I didn't contact her a long time. Bro, I'm literally gay this time now. So fix your English, bro. I didn't contact her for a long time. That's why I have to contact her after I'll get success on YouTube, because everything you have, everything you can do with the money. So I need money, so you know, you like so my English so broken, bro. I have to work on it.
Recommend guys that come from that anxious background? How do they get rid of that?
It's tricky because I'm not even going to tell you how to get rid of that with, like, a new random girl that you've just met. Because the way that I was able to greatly improve on this was, honestly, is that it's kind of like uncool, but, like, I just told her that I was super anxious. She started to realize that that was, like, an area of my improvement that I wanted to focus on. And so I would open up to her and say, like, I feel anxious about this. And it was almost like a test for me as well, thinking, wait, if I'm going to marry a woman, I need to be able to tell her, like, the deepest, darkest things that I've got. Not that I'm going to, emotionally drop the baggage and I'm not going to be the man. But she needs to know the things that I am actually afraid of. She needs to know the childhood shit, like, that she's going to be marrying. And so I just started to tell her, and she actually took it really, really well. And so
That's
slowly it
signs
was
of a good
like,
quality woman.
very much so. Because if a girl loses attraction for you when you tell her something really deep and personal,
Yeah.
then you know that it's not that even high quality or low quality. I think the better word is just compatibility. Like, if you're most compatible when you can just lay out your inner dialogue to a woman and, like, think, oh yeah, I think I do this because of this. I think that this happens because of this childhood experience. I think I'm quite anxious that you might be doing this right now. When you can say that and the woman doesn't judge you or views you as, like, a emotional bitch, but rather is more attracted to you because of that, because she got to discover a new part of you. That's the compatibility.
Yeah, honesty is a sign of strength.
Yeah.
But one area where where I struggled with in past relationships was thinking about frame all the time and how to present myself in a masculine way. How are you able to? Yeah, I'm wondering about that. Like, do you ever get to a point, Warner, where you could just drop the constant thinking of frame and of how to present yourself? Could you ever just be yourself comfortably without thinking like, okay, she needs to be told this here, where it's less internal, where you're not playing chess? Or do you think that men always need to play chess with the woman?
Well, the thing is, if you're naturally just that dude, then you don't have to put on the act anymore.
I wouldn't say it's an act, but it's thinking about, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, if you're just him, then you don't have to try to be in frame. You're always in frame.
That's the thing. I'm not him. Like, if you were the natural guy, you got girls when you were in high school, you were confident and stuff, fair enough. But I think that's why so many guys relate to this, because I think it was the same for you.
I wasn't him.
You weren't. Yeah. I wasn't. We had to learn this stuff. And I think you probably relate to this. It's like you could be next to a girl and you sometimes pick up of how analytical your brain is telling you with your body language. Okay, do this, act like this, respond like this. When you've had enough experiences, your brain knows how to like play a fast game of chess with a woman. And it's like you're constantly analytical. Back on the times I used to smoke weed, I don't know if you ever got it where like you were really, really aware of those tendencies. Okay, I'm sure you've experienced the same thing. So I would say,
it though for the people that don't know.
When you smoke weed, it can often make you a lot more introspective and aware of your tendencies, and you become quite paranoid. And so the reason why I largely stopped was because I realized it stopped being a nice experience, where suddenly it was like, I was picking up on how much I was trying to be like an alpha male next to girls. And it would make me cringe. I'd literally be like there, like trying to hold back laughter, thinking like, this is cringe. Literally, I'd be sat next to a girl and, okay, do this. But, she did that, so that make sure you do this in response and stuff. I was like, I've spent 1,000 hours learning this skill, bro. Like, I could have been making money going into the gym. I learned the skill of seducing a woman, and it wasn't never natural. But you know what the interesting thing is, even though it sounds cringe, I wouldn't go back and change it though. Because I get to enjoy a life where I feel like a competent man because I had to manually learn those things. Maybe best case scenario is like you started just with the genetic, oh yeah, I'm this guy, I'm this natural guy. But if you weren't that natural guy, there's still a lot of potential for you to become the guy who has learned 100%. Skills.
Yeah, you can learn that type of stuff. I think we have that in common too. I grew up as... I was always like the chinky Chinese boy. Now people think I look like Chris Brown, but like when I grew up like Chinese in an environment with mostly white people, and Asian men in the West are not seen as attractive. Like Asian men are not valued in terms of masculinity at all. If you watch any of the movies, like Hangover, for example, like, oh, you want to buy the drugs? And like this got a little dick and all this stuff. It's like everything besides Bruce Lee, all the depictions of Asian men in Western media were humiliating them. And so I kind of had to live with those stereotypes, like people making the Chinese eyes. So I started my journey as like from the bottom. I had to learn things more than other people were. I had to start from a place of disadvantage.
How did you break out of that stereotype for yourself?
I think part of that was like being mixed race. Like you lean into the black thing a little bit, which helps. But just becoming more comfortable in myself and not really caring about that and laughing it off. I remember, just not caring about it. Not caring about it. And also the gym was a huge one. Like when I started going to the gym when I was 17, it's funny, I started like going to the gym watching Bradley Martin videos, and now like he's my friend.
You bucked it.
Yeah, no, like I hang out with him all the time. It's funny how life works that way. Well, was it the same for you? They call you like the brown boy, probably. Like they call you stuff like the white kids would. But was it the same?
I had like brutal racist experiences. Like when we used to live in Liverpool, when I was in primary school, we had like gangs attack us and everything. We had literally people try and like steal from our house, break our windows, attack us and everything.
Yeah,
so it was brutal, Brian. I grew up I grew up like a few miles away from like a brutal racist murder, and so that really shook our family because like a kid got killed for being black, basically, like brutally murdered for being black. So it was.
I didn't know there was racism like that in the UK.
It's very much changed the last few years. So this is 2005, for example. This was like when
it's changed, or they're better at hiding it now.
Good question.
I'd say it certainly isn't that physical level. Like there might be systematic racism or something, but I really don't think that there's anywhere near. Like back in the day, it was unsafe for me to go to any public transport, for example. It was like, almost every time there'll be people shouting, racist, drinking beers and everything, and just being horrible.
Why do they
much,
that
yeah.
only now, after over 20 years, it's starting to finally be repaired? I noticed Warren.
Islam was attacked by media, and now it's growing. It's growing, bro. In Ramadan, it's before 20 years ago. When people are thinking, people were thinking about that Islam. They think it's like a terrorist thing, and this extremist religion. And now people are converting to Islam. And I watched a video shorts, a Muslim woman, he converted to Islam 3 years ago, and he talks about how Islam gave him, I mean Allah gave him a good life, and that's the life of, Islam is the way of life, and you have to try it. And you don't need to try it, you have to obey to Islam, because it will make you more valuable than ever.
I talk about this all the time. Like, he doesn't. You don't like to wear thobes that much in LA because you don't want to come off like a Muslim, because you've grown up with a lot of that stereotype and that racism, that propaganda. Luckily, I came into Islam now when Islam is like
It's cool.
It's like the best reputation ever. I proudly wear my thobe in Miami, and I don't notice any sort of bias or any negative attitude at all. Actually, it's pretty positive. People are like, I think people are really tired of the degeneracy and the naked girls walking around and the twerk. People are sick of that. So when they see someone walking around in a thobe, like, it's refreshing.
In what?
In a thobe, that's like
Oh, like the white.
The one piece.
it doesn't have to be white, but basically, yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Like the Arabic attire.
Yeah.
It's specifically religion.
And pray for Hamza, because he's learning about Islam, and he has a good positive, he has good views on Islam, and that's why I think we have to pray for him, because he will come Islam, inshallah. Allah make him Muslim. Yallah, please make him Muslim, bro. Make him Muslim, Ya Rab, because he needs that, because he's a self-improvement YouTuber and guider. Okay, let's watch it.
But you're supposed to wear something like that when you pray to cover yourself. Yeah, people look at it and they're like, it's refreshing. It's a good balance to everything else that they see from here. What are you going to do about it?
Still comes back to self-improvement.
What are you going to do about it? You have to improve. Like, you just have to be able to be self-sufficient. You need to have your own business. You need to be able to not be programmed and not have them affect you, because that's the only way out. Constantly talking about it does not do anything. Ultimately, you need to have guys in different. You need to have guys like Hamza to get these people on the right path. 100%.
Thank you, bro.
Do you pray?
No.
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 Do you want to?
Yeah. But no.
It is prayer time.
You want to pray, Isha?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, great.
So it's been a while since I prayed.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
This.
No, it's a
We have to do
physical.
it.
So the one is supplication when you talk directly to God. Then there's a physical act of worship, and there's different movements in the prayer that resemble forms of meditation as well. It's actually the highest forms. The positions of the prayer are actually the highest forms of meditation. And they say the closest that you are to your Creator is when your head is on the ground. That's the close. If you want to be close to your Creator, you'll never be as close to your Creator than when your head is on the ground.
Why?
Because when your head is on the ground, the soul elevates up.
It's also the most humbling position you could be in. Do they have a prayer room here?
Yeah. They can figure out whatever you want. We can get it figured out, bro.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Your head,
Yeah, let's do
bro.
it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it. Now I am.
Wait, hold on. Just chill for a second. Let me sort it out.
Okay, great.
Nice one, bro. Yeah, interesting. Let's do it. Do you know the poses and what you're supposed to do?
Yeah,
Like,
I pray multiple times every day.
with the position change, you bend that halfway.
So you here, you put your hands here, and then you bend
Yeah.
down, you look at the floor, and then you put your head to the floor.
And what are you thinking as you do it?
I think about everything that I think about everything. I think about, I ask Allah to give me strength to protect me from shaitan. I pray for my family. I pray for the strength of my friends around me. I pray that I can do the right thing. I pray that I can use my platform for good. I pray for the health of everybody that's watching my streams. I pray that they get something positive out of it. I pray that I can stay away from ego, that I can stay away from anything that's gonna push me to promote the wrong things. I pray for strength and guidance and protection for me and for the people around me, and for the world. That's multiple times a day. It's a good reminder of everybody around you, the people that you love, the people that you care about. And also, I'm very thankful when I pray. I show gratitude. I say Alhamdulillah. I thank God for everything. I thank God that I'm alive, that I'm able to eat food, to have good conversations. And thank God for the positions I'm in. I'm very grateful. It's a reminder to, the same reason, like a lot of what you do is very similar, like journaling, showing gratitude every single day, or waking up and saying positive affirmations. That's pretty much identical to what prayer is. And it's a good reminder to be happy about everything you have, and how blessed we are to even be alive and to have a voice, and to be around good people. We're very blessed to be here.
Yeah, so they're preparing the room right now. It should be ready in a few minutes. But what I'll do right now is I'll just walk you through the positions of prayer, right? So first, when we begin, it's very simple, right? You stand, and the direction we face is the direction towards the holy city of Mecca, right? So as we're praying, there's billions of other people that are also praying in the same direction. Imagine that, bro.
At the same time. Yeah.
Imagine that. As you're facing a direction, there's 2 billion other people. All that energy is going one place. And that's where we're going to be tomorrow.
I know.
That's crazy, right?
MashaAllah.
So now you're standing, and your intention is, you're not standing worshiping a creation. You're worshiping the creator of the heavens and the earth. Like, for instance, look at what's above us, right? The one that created, the constellation in the skies. The one who's created the moon, the star. The one that created us from drops of sperm. Could you imagine? Once upon a time, we were little drops of sperm. Now we're walking and talking human beings, having conversations with one another, drinking tea, drinking water. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to create other things through that. So you're standing in an act of worship to worship that creator alone, right? So now you stand and just pretend as if your creator is in front of you, and this is an act of worship that you're doing towards your creator. The next position is when you bow, right? And when you bow, you're only doing this to your creator. We never bow to the creation, only to the one that created everything, right? Then the most powerful position of the prayer, which everything prepares you for, all the position of the prayer prepare you for this position, which is the prostration, when you put your head on the ground. This is the most powerful position a human being could be in, to show that you are submitting yourself not to any human being, not to any stick, not to any stone, only the one who created everything. This is who we worship. Imagine, you're not worshiping a man, you're not worshiping a woman, you're worshiping the one who made everything out of nothing. It's a very powerful thing. So inshallah, just walk, just join us. Everything's prepared for you right now. Let's go ahead and do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man.
He's a good speaker, right?
Yeah, he is. Man. Where did you guys meet?
Where did we meet, Warner? In
San Diego.
In San Diego, yeah.
So do you go to the bathroom and wash off as well?
Yeah, we need to make wudu.
Yeah, show me how to do that as well.
Where's Needle's coming too, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Let's do it. Is it okay to record that, or is that
Yeah, it's good. It's we're spreading a positive message.
Okay, sweet.
So I'll walk you through
there you go.
what it is, right?
Oh, thank you.
So you just simply first you begin with washing your hands 3 times up to your wrist.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead, you can do it. And
With soap as well, though?
No, just water. Just water.
Okay,
You don't
okay.
need soap. Just 3 times up to your wrist, right? Up to your wrist. Beautiful, beautiful. And when you wash yourself, you want to. So the limbs that we're washing are all the limbs that are going to be in full submission to the Creator, right? So when you wash, you want to wash everything up to the wrist, the entire wrist, right?
Okay.
Boom. Now you wash your face 3 times, but you want to get your entire face. Cool. There you go. And don't be shy with the water. It's just water. You know what I'm saying? You want to get your entire face. Yeah, get your entire face. Beautiful, beautiful. There you go, there you go. And then you wash your right arm up to your elbow.
Three times.
Yeah, so you want to get your entire arm, like every side of your arm. Just get the, 3 times up to your elbow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And for you guys who are watching at home and also want to join us, feel free to join us. Do exactly what our brother Hamza is doing, and that way you could join us as well. It will be absolutely beautiful, and you'll see this experience is going to be one of the best experiences in your life.
Left
Go
arm.
ahead, then now to the left, yeah. And then you put water on your hand, right? And then you drop it, right? Then you, with the water on the moisture that's left on the top of your hand, you wipe the top of your head, right? Very lightly, yeah. Yeah, and then flip it back in the neck, right? The back of your head. And then with your index finger, the inside of your ear. Beautiful. And then what you would do is the right foot. Actually, what you could do is just put water on the top of your sock. That's it.
The sock.
Yeah, on the sock. Yeah, on the top of the sock.
Like here, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put water on the top of the sock. There you go. Typically, let's say if you're in your home, you typically wash your foot up to your
Like
ankle.
that foot, yeah.
All right, that's it. You ready to go?
Sweet.
Yeah, let's go.
Did you make wudu?
Yeah.
Excited, bro. Yeah, well, I've done it as a child, but it's been a very long time.
Yeah, cool, man. And I appreciate you joining us too, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for having me, bro. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so
Shoes
you're
off,
gonna be standing right
yeah,
next to
shoes
Brother
off.
SNEAKO. Take your shoes off. Yeah. No, you can keep your socks on.
I'll take it off, yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
So just stand right next to Brother SNEAKO. And when you guys stand shoulder to shoulder to show that you guys are united. You see, you're Pakistani and he's Filipino.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's mixed race, right? But that doesn't mean you guys are not united as one. We're all the creation worshiping the Creator. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm going to go ahead and lead the prayer. Like I mentioned to you, go ahead and just follow along. And I mentioned to you different steps of the worship. First, we stand in submission to God. Like imagine the Creator in front of you, right? Then the next position is bow, right? And then the next position is preparing you for the prostration where you put your head on the ground. Just go ahead and follow along. We're going to do 2 units. It's going to be done in like 3 minutes. Cool.
Sweet.
And then what I'll be doing is I'll be reciting verses of the Holy Quran. So that's what I'll be reciting during the prayer.
What are we doing? Asr or my?
No, we're going to do Isha right now.
Sure.
Yeah. Hamza, can we turn this off? Is there any way to lessen the noise or no? Just for 2 minutes.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
And also, when you stand shoulder to shoulder with everybody in the masjid, it's supposed to be like you're creating a wall blocking the devil from being able to get through you.
Sweet.
And coming in between the brothers. And it also shows that we're all united as one. There's no racism in Islam. We're all equal in the sight of God. You know what I mean? Rich, poor, black, white, it doesn't matter. We're all equal in the sight of God. So there's a lot of significance towards that. All right, I'll go ahead and begin. Bismillah ar-Rahim. Allahu Akbar.
So we don't have time to see the namaz, salah, bro. So I have to skip that because if you don't watch that video, this full clip I uploaded on separate video on the channel. You can watch now. Go to my video section on my channel and you can see that Hamza prays Aisha Salah. Okay, so I have to skip that because
You know yourself. So talk to him as if he knows you better than you know himself. So go ahead, raise your hand and speak to him, inshallah.
so that's it. They're praying to Allah for many things. I can say I want Allah from a strong iman and have a good faith, and also many things. So this podcast is
That's
end
so interesting.
here. So that podcast end here, ends here. Okay. So what do you learn from this podcast? Let me know about it in the comment. Okay, and I'll upload those types of podcast. You know that is not available on YouTube. So you can subscribe, or if you don't want, no problem. But I'll say you have to learn many things in your life that will help you a lot to improve your life, to get something in your life, and you know, obey to Allah if you are Muslim. Because if you don't have faith and don't do anything for Allah, you are not a Muslim, bro. You are not a Muslim. You are just called as a Muslim, but you are not a real Muslim. Real Muslim is they pray 5 times a day. They do charity. They do hard work every time, and they recite Quran. They recite Quran. Okay, and and they have good behavior and lots of things they have, you know. And I'm trying to my best to do that things. Okay, goodbye. Take care of yourself and be positive and learn those things that help you a lot in your life. And yo, bro, obey to Allah, obey to God if you are Christian, and if you are Muslim, obey to Allah and practice every rules of Islam. That will help you a lot. And if you don't subscribe this channel, don't do it. If you want, then I don't want I don't want anyone who subscribe uh for my what, bro. My English is a little bit cringy, so I have to improve my English. Inshallah, I'll better in English on day, and I'll be better speaker like Andrew Tate. But I can't be him, bro. I wouldn't be. Goodbye. Ma salama. Assalamu alaikum.